don't even have to touch that. It's hot. Instead of burning your hands like what I used to do to check it, get yourself a thermal imager and you can see that we are lit up on our heaters. I'll have some options in the description, usually affordable, just depends on what style you want. Just check out the tooling. Let's go on the roof. Okay, I haven't worked on this one in a while. Somebody lost the grill here, but let's check this out. So we are indeed in defrost here. Let's kick it out real quick. And it turns on. So we're gonna keep an eye on this. All right, so I tapped in here real quick. I'm gonna make sure nothing weird is going on. I don't know why it had so much ice here, not unless they had a delivery or they left the door open or something like that. So yeah, like on something like this, when they called and right now I asked, and they said this happened like 6 or 7 o'clock last night, that the fans just shut off, the whole unit shut off. And it's been like that since then. When I got here, the fans were off and all that. So I don't know, or my thought goes to obviously check the breaker first, but timer, it gets stuck in the time, certain time position. We're gonna check that right now. And also low refrigerant if it goes off on a pressure switch. So if we had nothing on our low side or too high of a high side, you're gonna trip one of those one of those switches. This one has those little peanut pressure switches. And obviously if it had been flat or something like that, it's never going to turn on. It's going to cut everything out. So since it turned on, right now I'm going to check the timer. And the only bad thing is it wasn't set even to the right time, I believe. Because if it happened at 6 o'clock at night, it would have set 6, 7, 8 o'clock, something like that. But it said like 1 o'clock. So not sure about that. But if the clock doesn't work, we'll change it out and kind of, you know, leave it there. But if the clock is working, I might have to go a little bit further. So normally, I mean, you can mark it if you need to, but I'm going to set it right now here to 3. And I'm going to have to give it time. It's a waiting game with refrigeration. So we're going to see if it goes either in between the next 2 lines or goes to the next line completely. I'm going to have to wait 15 minutes or so and then check on this time, see if it moved. If it doesn't move, then this clock isn't working. We actually might be slightly low on refrigerant, so I got to keep that in mind. But I'm gonna go down. I can monitor the pressure from up here. Okay, so we are not up to temp yet. So there is a delay here. You can see it cooling, so that's why my pressures are low, because there's no fans on. If your fans are off, your pressure is going to drop drastically. When the fans turn back on, your pressure should go normal. So that's probably why I saw low pressure or a low suction. And a lot of this stuff is bypassed. I just thought I thought it had no delay, that it turned on right away. So as you can see, we started at the 3, we're almost at the 3:30 mark, so that's fine. Everything has been working the way it's supposed to. You can already see that it's icing up. It's gonna be hard to show, but I was right. There is no fan delay. Our fans from there go into those 2 terminals that are rusted out in the back, and I am getting 208, so that's kind of weird. So in this situation, the only thing you can do is keep going down the line, and if you got power to the motors, which would be weird if they both gave out, but you got to make sure you got power at the motor and see if it's not just bad motors or something loose. They're probably wire nutted over here, so it could be like a bad connection too. Oh yeah. All right, so a lot of times wires get brittle, it's frozen in here, everything gets frozen up. So I'm sure we have power going to here, but actually I don't know why this one would be. We're gonna have to check this one out too, but at least for this motor, we have a broken wire. So that's why we have no power to this one. So let me fix this up. Let me unplug this one. And I can do a quick check to see if we even got anything in here. I get 205 here on the lines themselves, but on the plug side, we're getting like 120, 140. So I don't really have a lot of wiring. I thought I had a whole roll and I only have pieces. So we're gonna eliminate the plugs and try and reuse some of this wiring that goes across. It's probably just the plugs anyway, but we'll see if we can make it work. All right, Jesus Christ. I don't know if I broke that or I missed it, but right there you can see that's our connection. So let me fix that and just double check. I bypassed the plug on this one. I haven't gone to that one, so let me fix this real quick. That might have just fixed, that'll probably fix everything. All right, so new connection in. A lot of these connections were done poorly. I haven't worked on this in a while, so I don't know if that's my old work or whose work that is, but redoing some of these connections wasn't a bad thing. So let's fire it up now. You gotta love the whoopsies. So we got it going. So yeah, now that our fan is on, I'm gonna disconnect because everything's running. Pressures are pretty good. All right, so really quick, that video, I actually was gonna add another job to it because I got handed over this ice machine part for a Manitowoc, but that ended up being its own thing in itself. So I'm going to save that for the next video, and it'll be like a little helpful video because it was not as easy as it seemed. So basically, if there's anything to take away from this, it's always a good reminder never to get ahead of yourself. So really difficult to see it. I wasn't trying to poke around and mess with too much. It's very rusted. I could have broken that wire, could have broken other wires, but given both motors were not working, it going in defrost and then icing up and all that overnight, more than likely that was the issue to begin with. So it's not the worst one I've seen, but on these, it's a narrow walk-in freezer, and they line it both sides with shelving to almost, my height, a little bit higher. And I got lucky this time that they weren't fully stocked, because those shelves are usually packed with boxes, and trying to get to these panels, especially this unit, because it is it's an older evaporator, so those panels only come off on the side and a little bit off the back, or the back comes off too. Whereas on new ones, it's usually the front little piece and the side that comes off as one panel, where you can work on it from the front. So these, you really got to be on the side to see anything or work on anything. So typically I will clear out the top shelf if I need to, and then just lay on the top shelf and try and work on it, because there's no other way. I'm not getting those shelving out unless we need to, unless it's scheduled and I can tell them, we need to move some product, we need to move some shelves out. And at that point, yes, I will move stuff to work on it, reasonably. But this one did not, we got in there, I'm like, okay, there's one of a couple things that it could be. Completely lost its charge, where the pressure switch was, engaging and cutting it out. Something with a defrost. I've had timers act up where they're stuck in defrost, the clock's not moving, things like that. So tested that out. You can mark it with a marker or whatever you need to, or just keep time on it. You'll notice if it moved off of one of the lines where you set it, within like 10-15 minutes, you'll notice if it moved or not. And tested that. Our heaters worked, everything worked. It's just we never had power to the fans. So I was already going to rip out and redo that wiring with the plugs. So I just made sure I zip tied everything. So we had another break inside, that's probably what threw me off. I was like, oh, here's our break in the line. And I was expecting another break further down, and I didn't find it. I'm like, okay, no. The piece connecting to the board, there has to be something wrong there. And then I finally, saw it. And it doesn't help. Just one more thing. It doesn't help because if you notice, I couldn't even take off the panel to get a better look because somebody, I think they're running the drain heater through the back end of it. So that's where this older style sucks, is because like on the new, evaporators, you got knockouts in the back to run any wiring you need to run. Several knockouts at that. On this one, your knockout, or you're usually running it through the front. So they did have like a conduit out the front. And on this one, somebody thought it'd be a good idea to run line through the back, which, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. And that is secured and tied into that panel. So as I'm, removing it, I can only swing it open a little bit because it's secured to that conduit there, whatever it was. And which I think is a drain heater. So like it was still attached to it. I couldn't even take it off to see better. So I was trying to, figure it out. That had a lot of wiring in itself too. So just take it from me. Don't get ahead of yourself. Think about it one step at a time. I've always been told that our problems in this field, it's something that they drilled into us. It's like 90% electrical. Now, do you have power, breaker, fuses, and then go down the line and figure out what's not calling or what's not giving you power, and go from there. A lot of times it's a safety, it's a pressure switch, it's a broken wire, it's a rub out, stuff like that. And and then you go further and it's a grounded compressor or a bad motor, whatever it is that's causing it to do like a short or anything like that. So 90% of the time it's electrical. If you go and like you suspect that it went flat and it's going out on pressure control, we check that, but everything's fine. Just remember, like on this one, I ran it and the motors were not working, so it looked very low on charge. But remember, it's a freezer, the fans are off, it's gonna be low. If there's a delay, you're gonna see it low, like if it's working properly. And then once the fans start, that pressure is gonna rise pretty quickly. And then you can, do your diagnostics on pressures or whatever you need to check. So that was just another little tidbit. So this was, like I said, one of those like, whoops, missed it. But hopefully it helped somebody. Hopefully it helped you guys. And hopefully you enjoyed the video. So next video is going to be that ice machine part, because I actually could not find information on it too much in my quick little research. So why not, throw a video on how to do that. Look out for that later this week, hopefully. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. See you guys.